Time now for Tuesdays with Tiki as we welcome in Tiki Barber. And Tiki, last week you mentioned Michael Penix when we chatted. Now New Yorkers, at least those with insomnia, are a lot more familiar with him. So how tempting do you think it could be for Joe Schoen to draft the southpaw if he's on the board when the Giants pick?
Unless they fall in love with him, I think it's a long shot. Now, the reality is he's a really good quarterback, especially these last 2 years at Washington State, and we saw what happened at Washington, I should say. And we saw what happened last night. But the challenge for Michael Penix is he's had both knees injured with ACLs, but he's also 23 years old. Now, why is that a problem? It's because when he gets through his rookie contract, let's say they take him in the first round, he'll be 29 years old, and it's almost too old to commit to a guy. And so I think it's going to depend upon whether or not they love him. And if they do, they might draft him. But I think it might be a second-round pick, not necessarily a first-round pick, which is a little bit more manageable from a contract standpoint, especially considering that you just gave Daniel Jones, who's coming off a knee injury, $40 million a year.
If he has a repeat performance against Michigan like the one he had against Texas, you'll be getting a lot of calls about draft the kid out of Washington. All right, now to football. Down the turnpike, Nick Sirianni acknowledged that he is considering sitting some of the Philly starters on Sunday, with Dallas most likely beating Washington. So as a former player, would you want the rest or would you want to play?
No, you have to play. You have to, because the last thing you need in the NFL, especially at playoff time, is to get out of your rhythm. We saw this a couple years ago with the Baltimore Ravens, who are going to have the same situation this year because they don't have anything to play for against the Steelers. They sat their players, they had the bye week, and they came back and they were rusty and lost to the Tennessee Titans. I think the Eagles haven't played well enough to just sit. I mean, they lost to the Arizona Cardinals, to sit guys and say, we're good. I think they still have some developing going on, especially defensively, that they need to sort out. And, you know, the Giants are going to play hard because it's what they are, but I don't think that they should sit. And if I was a player, I wouldn't want to.
Yeah, the argument to support your point has always been what the Giants did against the undefeated Patriots team when they played them tough and went into the playoffs with some momentum. All right, now to the Jets. And speaking of the Patriots, it's somewhat fitting that Bill Belichick will be looking for his 16th straight win over Gang Green in what could be his last game as head coach of New England. So, Tiki, how much of a motivating factor do you expect ending the streak to be for the Jet players this week?
Well, if I'm a Jet fan, definitely. If I'm a Jet player, most definitely. I got to get this narrative out off the radar. I'm tired of hearing about it if I'm a Jet player. And so any motivation you can have for week, and now 18, I should say, because they play 17 games, is enough. But given that it's the New England Patriots, it will be highly motivating. And for the first time, and I think a long time, they really feel vulnerable. Have had a lot of bad quarterback play, and defensively, they should be able to take advantage. Yeah, in that streak, because I'm sick of talking about it.
Yeah, I think everyone is, but it's definitely going to be a surreal atmosphere in New England with all that swirling around Belichick and the Patriots. Tiki Barber, thanks for joining us here on Honda Sports Night.
Pleasure, Eamon. Be good.